I think everyone knows that over the last few years, there's been this wonderful program called Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, since 2012. Great program, has really helped a lot of people, young people. And since the work permits were issued for 2-3 years, we've been seeing a lot of people that are coming in for renewals of their work permits. And some people are even coming in and inquiring about travel permits. Last week, I had a meeting with a young man that was telling me about his grandfather that he had never met, actually, who is dying of a terminal disease, and he was hoping to visit his grandfather before he passes away. And he had heard through the grapevine that if you are a DACA recipient and you've got your work permit through DACA, that it may be possible to travel. So he came in to find out the details. Sometimes I don't have good news for people. This time I made him very happy. It's totally possible for someone who is a DACA recipient who has a valid work permit and a valid DACA eligibility under the right circumstances to apply for a travel permit. I suggested that we apply for a travel permit for him using Form I-131. And immigration generally grants advance parole, which is the permission to travel and return to the country, for several major reasons. One of them is if people have an educational reason to travel, like if they want to study abroad, take a short-term program abroad. Another might be if someone has an important business reason to travel abroad on a short term. The third reason, which is this category, is considered a humanitarian reason. And if people are going to visit a dying relative or to attend funeral services, that is definitely considered a humanitarian reason. Sometimes people come to my office and say they want to take a vacation to Europe or to, Bali or another wonderful place, but for immigration purposes, going on vacation is not considered a valid motive for applying for a travel permit for advance parole. But in this case, to visit his sick and dying grandfather, that was a totally valid reason to apply for advance parole. And we advised him to obtain proof of their relationship. That would mean to prove that his grandfather is his grandfather, his birth certificate, his mother or father's birth certificate, and the accompanying marriage certificates with all the translations. Likewise, we advised him to obtain proof of the serious medical condition. He got copies of hospital records. He got a detailed letter from the doctor treating his grandfather, and he got an email from another family member explaining that it was very serious and that he should come right away. So we did put together the advance parole application for him, and we were successful in obtaining advance parole. Sometimes you can even get expedited advance parole if you produce evidence of a death certificate and funeral arrangements if someone has to travel immediately. So it is a great benefit for people that have been granted DACA and under the right circumstances, like this young man, he was able to apply for advance parole and be granted advance parole. One additional benefit of advance parole is that when somebody re-enters the U.S., it is actually considered a lawful entry. And many of the DACA recipients came in across the border, or they don't have copies of their old visa, so they never had a lawful entry. So in this case, if you do leave on advance parole and come back, it's considered a lawful entry. And if you are in your 20s or 30s and married to a U.S. citizen and did not have another means of interviewing in the U.S., you can use this entry as a qualifying entry to adjust your status in the U.S. if you have a U.S. citizen spouse. So that's kind of a side benefit to applying for advance parole as a DACA if you're able to qualify for that. So it's a great form. It's a great option. It's a little bit complicated. You have to dot all your I's and cross your T's. I do recommend that you work with a competent immigration lawyer that's handled the advance parole travel requests. We have handled dozens and dozens for adjustment applicants and DACA holders, and we would be very happy to talk to you about it and analyze your situation and see if you would be a good fit for a travel document. Thank you.